Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to week 2 of our Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Very exciting. I am very impressed that you came back for this. You came back for more. 1 week of challenges was not enough. And here we go. We're going to start with challenge number 5 today. So before I get started, I'm going to just say hello to people in the chat. So if you are new, pop into the chat over on Behance and say hello. We got Sam Peterson, always. What's up, Gildas? Hello, Clarissa. Good to see you, Bob. And if you all stuck around earlier for Kyle's stream, amazing. So much information, sneak peeks. Love it. Thank you, Kyle. And sorry for kicking you off the live stream. It wasn't me, but I'm sorry anyways. Oh, Kathleen, why wouldn't we come back? I don't know. You've already learned all there is to learn about Photoshop? What's up, Greg? All right, if you don't know me, I'm Kathleen. I'm a designer at Adobe, and I host these streams. So I hope you will stick around and continue to enjoy yourself. Let me pop over to the landing page so we can take a peek at what this challenge even is. What are you doing here? What are we about to do? So again, this is the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, and it started on June 8th, so last Monday, and it's gonna go until this Friday. Very exciting. You're halfway through. If you want to register, you will just click this blue button and you can scroll down to see the past challenges that we've worked on. We started super simple, like just learning transform tools, blend modes, layer styles, that kind of stuff in the first couple days. We learned a little bit of type. And then today we're getting into some compositing skills, as well as exploring shapes in Photoshop and how they can be edited and changed. So we're going to be making a collage using some smart shapes and some photographs as well. What's up, Colleen? F. Michael? Good to see ya. So if you want to follow along with me, you can click this Get Started button and it will take you to some starter imagery. Now notice that there's no PSD or actual template file today. One, because I want to challenge you to maybe make your own file, since we learned about how to make your own PSD with custom dimensions and that kind of information. But also the template that I'm using today is just the one from the day before. I didn't want to force you to download the same thing multiple times. So if you haven't downloaded the previous templates yet, no worries. Just go back to the landing page, go to Technicolor Postcard, which is just Friday's challenge, click Get Started, and you can download the template there. I'm using the same type, the same shapes, the same size, everything. But as always, don't feel pressured to follow along exactly with what I do. We're just learning about skills and workflows. You're not being graded on how closely you can match what I do. We want to see you spread your creative wings. But you know, if you want to follow along with me, that's cool too. Rose says, yes, I love collage. Me too. This is going to be a really simple collage, but I would like to see, again, what you guys can do. Nadia, what's up? Carrie, hello. All right, another big part of this challenge is to join the community that's not just the live chat during these live streams, because they're only 25 minutes. They're pretty short. So you can come to Discord and chat with us all day, every day. Discord is just a big party where we talk about creativity, and specifically we do kind of critiques. So if you come to this feedback channel, you can click current challenge, and this is the channel for this entire 2-week challenge. So even if you're working on Friday's challenge or today's, you can post your works in progress here and you can get feedback. So Valder has been doing an amazing job, as always, giving lots of great feedback, but don't forget that you can give feedback to other people as well. I would actually say kind of the rule of thumb is if you get feedback, you should give feedback, you know, give and take. Give a penny, take a penny. That kind of thing. Thank you, Sam. That is correct. If you want to join us on Discord, here's a super easy link for you to follow, bit.ly/psdiscord. Capital P, capital S. Right there. That's important. For some reason, the capitals are important in a link. Who knew? Who knew? Sig, your internet was out most of the weekend. Hopefully I get to see all of this. I hope so too. And Sig, I hope you like this challenge more than the frames challenge. I picked up that you weren't a big fan. That's okay. You don't have to like all of the tools in Photoshop. I certainly don't, but I'll never tell which ones they are. Nat, what's going on, Darius? Good to see you. Okay, so let's jump into Photoshop. We don't have much time. And if you have questions, put them in the chat while I'm working. All right, so here is where I've started with my starter file, and I'll show you how I got to this since I didn't give you a template. Taha over on YouTube says, I love Photoshop. Me too, Taha. If you're chatting on Photoshop, you should come on over to Behance so I can see your chat a little bit easier. be.net/live. Whoops, wrong keyboard. Let me just move this out of the way. Don't want to be messing up my streaming software, do I? All right. So to get this template, I will open Friday's template and show ya what I did. So here's Friday's starter files. I think, oh, wrong day. This is not Friday's, this is today's. Here we go. So this is Friday's starter file. If you have this, you can get to where I am by just deleting the pin, deleting the topography lines. I'm just hitting delete on my keyboard to delete layers. It's really easy. And then we have our texture layer already on a blend mode that we can't see. So all we need to do is add a solid color fill layer. We learned how to do this on Friday, maybe Thursday. Okay, we can choose a color. I chose like a really deep dark purple to kind of mimic the night sky. And then just make sure that that is below your texture. And there you go. You are where I am, plus a telescope stock image that I provided for you. I just plopped that in. So if you have any questions, put them on over. How will the programs run during the conference days? Great question, Hawa. And Sam, you have the answer. We will still be live, but only on YouTube for the DCCs. So the DCCs are still gonna go on during 99U, but we will just be on YouTube. Kind of doing a little bit of a feed drop. All right, so we have our telescope, and the first thing I want to show you guys and talk about is how to remove that white background. We've done it a couple times by using the Select Object tool. So let's do that to get rid of that white background and see how well it does. I'm going to long press on my selection tool, and that's going to open up a couple flyout tools for me. We're going to do the object selection tool. Let me zoom in a little bit. Command plus is the hotkey, or Control plus if you're on a PC, to zoom in. I'm just going to draw a marquee using that hot tip from Friday where I'm holding down the space bar to change where my selection is. There we go. And I'm just going to release, and it's going to do a great job of selecting everything. But I can tell like it didn't select this little white area in here. So we can jump even further into our selections with Select and Mask. Can you believe that I haven't gone into Select and Mask yet? I usually try and get into that as soon as possible because it is so fun. All right, and this is going to show us where our mask is, where we are erasing pixels. Not really erasing, we're hiding them. And then we can see where we still need to mask. So right here, and a little bit on this edge. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's a short stream, but you can spend as much time as you want. So I'm going to, let's see. If I click here to try and get the rest of this telescope to show, it'll do a pretty good job of filling in the spots for me. Now I want to erase this white, so I'm going to hold Option or Alt if you're on a PC, and when I do that, that's going to erase. See how my cursor icon's changing? I'm holding Option, I'm releasing it, holding it, releasing it. So I'm just going to click in there. It does a pretty good job as well. And then this might actually need the lasso tool, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to hold Option to make sure I am erasing with my selection. I'm going to click. There we go. And we have a nice selection. Right here, it's not perfect, but I'll let you guys spend more time on that. I need to get going. The last thing I need to do is I need to maybe increase the contrast of my edge to make it very crisp. Then you can also shift the edge outwards or inwards. Let's shift it a little bit inwards so we can get rid of the white kind of outline that's everywhere. There we go. If I zoom in, you'll see that there's no kind of white aliasing going on anymore. Whoops, too much of a zoom in. All right, to output this, we are going to go to Output and New Layer. Click Click OK. And now, as you can see over here in my layers panel, we have our telescope with no white background. Perfect, ready for us to transform and turn into this. So one really easy way to transform images in Photoshop is to just make a selection and transform it. It's gonna be awesome. What if object selection is missing from my palette? It's probably just hiding under your other tools. Long press and see if you can find it under here. You can also do Shift W to cycle through your tools. So I'm just hitting Shift W and tapping through. And if you still don't see it, you can come down to this triple dot and you can edit your toolbar and see if you can find the tool in there. Hope that helps. All right, let's transform. So it's just going to be kind of a quick and dirty selection. I'm going to use the lasso tool. We just want to tilt this telescope up. Now here, this is a little trick. If this is going to be the point where my telescope is going to be swiveling, I want it to be pointing up. I'm going to make sure to do kind of a rounded selection here, like this. That way when it swivels, I'm not gonna have like a hard edge poking out of the top. It's gonna almost look like it's a joint in a socket, or a ball in a socket. Rotating. Finish my selection. Command T to open my transform controls, or I could just go to my move tool. And we're just gonna rotate. Make sure that ball stays in that socket. And rotate it as much as you would like. We want it to be pointing up towards the stars because we need to draw some planets. All right, I'm gonna do Command D to deselect, or you could go to Select, Deselect. And there we go. We have our edited telescope, the first piece of our collage. Although I'm noticing that we have some white over here. I'm just gonna make a selection real quick and delete that. Maybe I have to use my eraser. It didn't pick it up. Okay, there we go. There we go. What's up, Valdair? The Mentor King himself. Okay, let's add some planets. So I don't remember if I showed you the final file yet, but this is what the look that we're going for. We are going to mix this kind of photographic element with some very crispy graphic elements using Smart Shapes. So let's add some planets. This is fun. I want to see what you all do with this because you could fill the entire night sky with planets, or you could just do one big one, whatever you want to do. That is your prerogative and I'm excited to see it. So I'm going to start adding some by coming down here to the ellipse tool. If you don't see the ellipse tool, you can tap U and then you can fly out your menu. You might see the rectangle tool, for example. You can fly out your menu, see a bunch of different shape tools. We're going to play with the custom shape tool at the end, but you can do the line tool, polygon tool, ellipse tool, rounded rectangle, rectangle. Now the cool thing about this tool itself is you're not just making a marquee that you can then like paint bucket fill with color. You're making a shape on its own layer and you can fill it, add a stroke to it, change the weight of the stroke if it's dotted or not. You can change it into a path. Or keep it a shape, all in this one tool. It's really quick and easy to change the way your elements look, changing the color, which used to not be possible in Photoshop. It used to be much more of like an Illustrator thing. So I'm going to drag out a circle. I'm going to hold down Shift so I'm constrained to a perfect circle. There we go. And you'll see over here in my layers, I have my ellipse shape layer. This little icon means it's a shape layer. I think someone asked that on one of the early days what this icon means. Very perceptive. Okay, and it automatically fills with black because that is what my fill color was. Here in my properties panel, I can change my shape details. So I could open up my fill color, maybe change it to an orange, and you'll notice it has that beautiful texture since we have that cement texture on top of everything. So there we go. I like that. That's great. We could just duplicate this circle and just change the color, A really, really, really quick way to duplicate your layers is Command or Control J. So now over here in my layers panel, I have 2. Or I'm gonna undo that. You can click and drag your layer down to the new layer icon, and that will also make a duplicate. I love that there's like a million different ways, UI-wise, to do what you want to do. For example, with like the scrubbies up here, or you can manually enter details as well. Photoshop does a great job of that, I think. All right, so I'm just gonna draw a new ellipse because I like drawing them. I think it's fun. So I'm gonna hold Shift. Maybe we'll do one here. Has the same fill color because we haven't changed it, so let's choose a different one. Maybe something like blue. A pink, perhaps? What do y'all think? An orange? Ooh, that looks good. Very Mars-esque. I like it. All right, and then for this one, I'm just gonna duplicate, and we can use the Move tool, and maybe make this one a little bit smaller. It's always great to think about the hierarchy of your shapes. So what planet do you want your viewer to see first? Probably the big one. So that one has the highest contrast, where it's very light against a dark background. Then we have 2 smaller ones that are gonna stay similar in color, so it doesn't feel too out of place. We can change the color here. There we go. Monica says, I used noise for my spear. Oh, nice, to add a little bit of depth. Lyndon, how did you add the texture layer? Great question, Lyndon. It was already in my file because I opened the starter file from Friday, but I'll show you really quick how to add a texture layer. So you'll go to File, Place Embedded, and you'll navigate to your texture, whatever it is, if it's a concrete wall picture that you have, or I don't know, something else. What other kind of textures are there? Wood textures. I'm trying to find where the actual one is. You know what? We'll go into here and I will grab it from here. There we go. So there we go. We have our texture. I'm going to size it up so it covers everything. We will hit enter or this check mark to commit our changes. And then you just change your blend mode to make it a texture. Ooh, that's kind of cool. That really gives a rocky feel to these planets. They're not gaseous, that's for sure. So this is 2 textures layered on top of each other. That feels interesting. That's very Milky Way-esque, right? This one's kind of dark and flat. Multiply is cool, but that's how you would add a texture, and you want it to be on top of everything that you want to be textured. So it applies to everything below it. All right, so I just saw someone say add a gradient in chat, and I don't know if they were talking to me, but that's a great idea. So for our final shape, we're gonna use a custom shape down in our shape tools. And if you come up here to your control bar, you can see there's a bunch of shapes to use. And if you don't see all of these shapes, just go to this little cog icon and import shapes. These are all of the ones that are built into Photoshop, so I didn't have to download any. Alrighty, let's draw our moon holding Shift, and I can make my fill a gradient instead of a solid color. So let's go to our fill options. If I go to this 3rd kind of swatch option, I can apply a gradient. What do we think? That's cool. Ooh, I think I like that. Well, I don't know. Too many options to make on the fly. Let's go with that actually. It shows the background color coming through. I like it. You can make your own custom gradient by clicking down here on the gradient preview, and we can choose our own color, but I'll just leave it transparent. Get rid of that. And there we go. So you can add gradients, you can add textures, patterns, all kinds of good stuff. Now for my final shape, actually in my finished file, I have a regular ellipse, but instead of a fill, I'm gonna come here and turn it off. And in my stroke, I'll just choose maybe like the light blue, and I'm gonna choose a dotted line. So I can increase my path size like this. I can even change the shape of my cap, so I could make it round. I could make my dotted line different. There we go. We have a dotted line circle. So this is like the planet that we're discovering. My whole idea behind this, I'll go to my finished one, was to be a postcard for maybe like a new graduate. I know a lot of people just recently graduated last month and they weren't able to actually go to their commencements. So this might be the perfect time to make a little graphic for your favorite graduate and encourage them to stay curious after they've gotten their degree. There's still a lot of work to be done in this world, so got to stay curious, open to learning new things. So if you're curious about these little lines that I made, I wanted it to feel even more collage-y. So I put these lines in here and made it feel like these planets were kind of hanging from the top, like it was maybe like a diorama, paper cut, you know, that kind of thing. Kelly, what's up? Thank you. And the way that I did that is I just made a new layer. Let's see where it is. I think it's below everything. Here it is. I made a new layer that was just using the brush tool over here. I just picked a round brush. And to get straight lines in Photoshop, you can click, hold shift, and draw down. So I'll do that again. Click, hold shift, and even if I move my cursor around, it's still gonna be straight. And then I just doodled in these little bunny ear shapes, just using my mouse. No big deal. And there we go. So I'm really excited to see what you all make for these postcards, these planetary collage postcards. How did you select the broken lines? If you make a shape, instead of using a fill, you're gonna use a stroke. And then in your stroke style, which is right here, you can choose the dotted lines. Hope that helps. You could even add like a drop shadow to one of these shapes. That would be cool. To add a drop shadow, if you don't know, you could go to this FX option, drop shadow. Let's go to this. Okay. If I zoom in real close, you'll notice that there's a little bit of a drop shadow now. So do your thing, get creative with this. I'm excited to see what you do. You don't have to do anything planetary or astrological at all. Astronomical? Astrological. I just want to see you use some smart shapes and some selection tools to make a cool collage. Let's do a quick export of this for Discord. So we will do for Discord, day 5, save, and then let's get some feedback. Very beautiful kind of rainbow work by Meech and Frank. Very cool. I'm going to upload my work by just clicking on this plus button right here, navigating to my file, going to collage. What's up, Steve? Jennifer says this is something that my dad would love to have. He teaches astronomy, so now things are very separated. That makes sense. Maybe he would appreciate a graphic made by his daughter. What is the image size for the postcard? I'm using 4x6. Postcards can actually be a bunch of different sizes. I didn't know that there wasn't just like one official size, but the one I chose is 4x6. And if you want to use the template file from Friday, that's already a 4x6 file for you. Okay, let's see. I want to ask for specific feedback because that helps the people giving me feedback. So I'm going to ask, do you think the hierarchy of the planets is working? Or should I simplify it? We'll see what you all think. And I'm excited to see what you make, as I always say. Now, don't forget to also upload this onto Behance once you actually get your feedback and maybe make any tweaks that you have. I still need to upload this onto Behance after maybe getting some feedback. Thank you to whoever, Valder, put the ringed planet emoji. Love it. And that's it for me for today. Orange Bandito says, Coolio, 100%. Nice. I like 100%. So let us move over to the schedule for today. Like I said earlier, Kyle was on right before me doing what's new in Fresco. It was very informative and very cool. Right after me, we're going to have some photo compositing with Elise. So even more compositing skills. You could be working on this project while you listen and learn more. Then after that, Andrew's going to be here for the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. He always has awesome challenges. You learn a lot and it's a lot of fun. I'm also just noticing that there's a bunch of planets around me right now. It matches. That's great. Then at noon, we're going to have some XD prototyping with Julie, followed by the XD Daily Creative Challenge with Andrea. So there's kind of blocks of photo compositing, Illustrator, XD, and then we're finishing the day with Alice for some doodle therapy. Such a wonderful stream. Very relaxing, very fun. It's a good place to dialogue as well. If you have a lot of thoughts these days, if you're struggling, I think the whole world is, especially people in America, having a really hard time right now. So if you want to come at 2:30 and just chat about your feelings, that's a great place to start. Yes, beware the time ban hammer. Oh, I know, Steve. I know how much time I have left. I got a timer. It's like my doomsday countdown. You can't listen and work, says Monica. I feel ya. If I'm actually thinking really hard, it's hard for me to listen to people talk too. All right, just one more reminder to join us on Discord if you want to hang out 24/7 with all of your favorite Adobe Live friends. And then I'm going to be back tomorrow with day 6. What could it be? We did compositing today. Any ideas? Let me know. I will be hanging around in Adobe Live throughout the day as well, so just stick around, have a great day, and I hope you're doing well. Stay safe out there, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.